Ammar ibn Yasir.
Yes, okay. So my question is from say it says, is so-called halal dating possible? How should young Muslim Americans approach relationships, both online and in person, with the
Can
opposite
you
gender?
repeat the first part? I didn't hear you.
Is so-called halal dating possible?
So-called halal dating. Yeah, Ammar, is there something you want to tell me?
Not
Somebody
yet.
I should know about? I don't know what's going on. This is a very awkward question for me. Okay. So, Ya Ammar ibn Yasir, so-called halal dating. As I said earlier, one needs to be very, very careful going down this avenue. Again, everybody thinks that they're qualified to keep their emotions in check. Everybody. But nobody even knows the strength of their emotions once that love begins to grow. Realize that first loves are the most passionate because there's never been a previous experience, and realize that at that stage and age of one's life, it is definitely something, like the Quran says, intoxicating. So my advice would be that never should a young man or woman go down this path without the parents or the elders knowing. Never should that happen, because it is halal to meet for the sake of getting to know one another, for the sake of marriage. Nobody's denying that. The problem comes when you open this door to start meeting people at random, and you have in your mind, oh, I'm going to date 10 sisters and then choose which one. No, nobody's saying that. We're talking about a young man and a young woman. They have an intuition that, hey, we're going to be good for one another. They talk to their parents. Their parents say, okay, fine. It's a life commitment. You can't just meet once and then decide. You're going to have to meet a few times, pray istikhara. Those meetings should be done with the knowledge of other people, right? Now, can they be done in a public place that is not private? So again, this is literally on the line of danger versus not. As long as the parents are aware, and it is a public place, technically this is halal. As long as the goal is marriage. But the problem comes, the Western culture, the goal is not marriage, the goal is to hook up. That's not the issue. The issue in Islam is that if both parties literally have the goal, I want to get married and I want to see, is this person right for me or not? If that is this frame of mind, right? Then insha'Allah ta'ala they can meet up. I'm not going to call it dating because that is a whole different connotation. They can meet up, and within a few times there is the knowledge of whether there's a compatibility or not. You see, and again this is to all the young men and women listening, you don't need to meet somebody for 2, 3, 4 years to figure out whether they're life partners or not. You need to meet a few times, see is there a rapport, a chemistry, ask some questions about life and whatnot, and then pray istikhara, and then speak to the elders and make your decision after that. Here to speak to your parents. I'm encouraging you that you know best how to approach this topic. It's a very awkward topic. If you feel embarrassed, go through your elder cousins or nephews or uncles and aunts. Go to people that know your parents and lay out, this is what I have in mind before you decide, make sure these conditions are met. These are very awkward conversations, fully understandable. At the same time, you cannot just ignore our sharia and ignore your parents as well, because also, here's another point, and I know this might be one question as well. Dear young men and women, navigating through your spouse and your parents is one of the fundamental dramas of every human being. Okay? Romeo and Juliet, it's not just 500 years ago. Your parents do have some right over you. I'm not saying they have veto power. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying never completely cut them off, because in the end of the day, you will need your parents if something happens. The marriage is not certain. Your parents, for certain, will always be your parents. Okay? Keep that point in mind. When you're 21, 22, 23, the concept of divorce will never cross your mind. That's really great and nice and naive and innocent. But in reality, as you're aware, statistics are not very comforting. So be pragmatic, be realistic, speak to your elders, pray istikhara to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and back to your question about halal dating. And if there's anything you need to tell me, Ammar, we'll talk tonight inshallah. But otherwise, I don't consider this to be dating. We should not use the term dating. We should say, if a young man and a young woman understand that they are talking to one another for the sake of a nikah, and their parents are aware, then this is something that is permissible as long as the Islamic protocols are done. Other than this, we should keep this door shut, because opening this door of just random people meeting up is eventually going to lead to that which is haram, and Allah knows best.
يا من أجبت دعاء نوح فانتصر وحملته في فلكك المشحون يا من أحال النار حول خليل